Hey there, welcome to my channel. My name is Shawn, and in today's tutorial I'm going to show you my process for making this cute keychain scrunchie. So it could go on your wrist, you could use it as a bag charm, as a gift, whatever you choose to do with it. And one thing about me is I love a cute keychain. So I've made like this jet tag here, as well as this is another one that I did with some embroidery on there. This rhinestone wristlet keychain I made months and months ago. And then here's another applique keychain. So as you can see, I love me a cute keychain. And I do have other tutorials on these. I'll make sure to link them in the description box just in case you want to check those out as well. But today we're going to focus on making us a scrunchy keychain. So let's go over the supplies and then we'll jump right into the tutorial. So I do have some liquid fusion. This will be the glue that I'm going to use when we're putting the hardware on, and I'll show you why at that step. And then the fabric of your choice, I'm going to use this cute sunflower print. I got this from Joann's last summer and never used it, so we'll be using it today. You'll need some elastic. I'm going to be using 1/2 inch elastic, and then some pliers so you can close your hardware, or a rivet press if you have one. And then your key fob hardware. This is 1 inch wide for the key fob hardware that I'm going to use. I have my little mini iron here, as well as my heat resistant pressing mat. And then for the measurements, I have mine at 20 inches. So it's 20 inches long, and then I have it at 2.5 inches. Okay, so 20 by 2.5, or 20 by 2.25, you know, 2 1/4 is fine as well, or 2.5, because I'm actually going to be sewing it to where I'm going to cut down that seam allowance anyways, because we want to make sure when we fold it over that our hardware is going to fit and there's not going to be extra fabric hanging off of the sides. So we want to get it down to 1 inch. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this stuff moved off to the side. We'll start with the first step, and then from there we'll head over to the machine so we can get this stitched together. So let me get this out the way, and then we'll go on to the next step. So I've gone ahead and gotten this straightened up a little bit, and then let my iron heat up, and then I'm gonna take my little strip of fabric here, and now, this is not something that you have to do. This is just what I like to do. I like to fold it over, and it's going to be right sides together. So you're going to fold the right sides together, and then I like to iron mine. Now, you don't have to do that. You can clip it with some wonder clips. You can use some pins and then take it over to your machine. I'm just going to go ahead and press mine and then take it over to the machine and go ahead and stitch it down. Because this is cotton fabric, so it's not going to shift, or at least not much. So that's why normally I just like to go ahead and press mine and then just take it to the machine to stitch. And now this is also a very beginner friendly project. If you're new to sewing, or you're looking to get into sewing, and you know, want to kind of test the waters, make something cute but simple, this is a project for you. So I'm gonna just run my iron over there, and I am good. And so I have my right sides of the fabric together. So that's the right side, and then now I'm ready to go over to the machine, and I'm just going to do a stitch right all the way down, and then we'll have to turn it inside out. So we'll go over to the sewing machine, get this stitched, and then I'll show you the next step. All right, so we are at the machine, and I do still have my walking foot on there. You don't need your walking foot for this project. Your regular foot is fine. I do have to sew some minky blankets later, so I'm just going to keep the walking foot on there. But this is not necessary or mandatory. And then I'm just going to line my fabric up with the guides here on the machine so I can have it where I want it. and then let my foot down, and then I'm going to start with a forward stitch, then I'm gonna do a back stitch so we can lock in our stitch. And then making sure that it stays on that line, I'm gonna just go ahead and let that go all the way down. And once we get to the end, we're going to do the same way we started. Do a forward stitch, do a back stitch, and then cut our thread. All right, then we'll head back over to the table. All right, so we have our casing, and so I just did a straight stitch all the way down, and then I'm just going to kind of trim some of the extra fabric off, and just be careful to make sure that you don't accidentally cut your thread. And these little scrunchies, you can make them once you get the steps down. You can make these in about a good 15 minutes or so. Like, they're very, very quick. And they're also good gift ideas too, or you could just make it for yourself. All right, so I got that trimmed down. Now, the process of turning it inside out. So there actually is a tool, I can't even think of the name of it right now. I will have to link it below, that I actually got from Amazon, where you just put it through and it kind of just pulls everything out. Well, when I was rearranging both of my craft rooms, I don't know where I put it. So I'm just going to kind of maneuver and get it to work. So I kind of just take a little tool and kind of just move it around, and the fabric, it starts to kind of move through. But be careful if you're doing it this way that you don't accidentally poke a hole in your fabric. You definitely don't want to do that. So what I'll do is go ahead and get this turned right side out, because it's going to take me a few minutes doing it this way, and then I will be right back. All right, so I have it turned to the right side, and so now I'm gonna take my elastic so we can feed it through our scrunchie. All right, and so since my casing for the scrunchie is 20 inches, I cut my elastic at 10 inches. So just whatever size you decide, or whatever length you decide to use, cut your elastic half of that size. And so I'm gonna go ahead and put a pin in here, because we're going to have to feed it through. And so I'm gonna just take the end with the pin attached and just drop it in there. And make sure you hold your elastic. Don't just let it go in there, because we're going to stop it right at the edge. Right at the edge here. And then you can clip it there, use like a wonder clip or something like that. So I'm gonna just go ahead and go to the machine, and I'm just gonna stitch right across the top, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and stitch it across the top, and then I'll show you. I won't move you to the camera for that part. The next part, I won't move you to the camera, move you to the sewing machine for this part, but the next part I will when we're connecting everything. So I'm gonna go ahead and stitch this right quick, just a quick straight stitch. You also wanna do that back stitch when you start and that back stitch when you finish. So I'll be right back. Okay, so I've gone ahead and did my straight stitch. So it's just right across the top there. And let me grab some scissors just so I can trim my thread. All right. And so now That's why we put that safety pin on the end. Then we're just going to take it and feed it through. And there's also a tool for this too. I do have that, but seeing that this is really quick, really small item, I'm not going to use it. But like for hoodies and things like that, when I have to feed a drawstring through, it's really helpful. So I'll make sure to link that in that tool in the description box for you as well. So we have our scrunchie is coming together. So we have it out on the other end here. This is the end that was just stitched. Okay, and so what then I'm going to do now, and you want to be careful that it doesn't go back in there. I'm going to grab one of my Wonder clips, and I'm just going to clip it at the end. Okay, and then we're going to go over to the machine and get it connected together, and then we'll put our hardware on and we'll be done. So let's go ahead and head over to the machine so we can do the almost last step, the last little bit of sewing that we need to do. So let's head over to the machine. So we have the end that was already sewn, and then where our elastic is, we have that clipped. And so we're going to put these two together, and I like to just kind of move the fabric around towards the bottom so this is really straight. And then again, make sure you don't let that elastic go. Line everything up. And then we're just gonna stitch across. And I do like to do a forward stitch all the way, then a back stitch, another forward stitch, just to make sure it is secure. And it should look something like that right there. All right, so let's go back over to the table so we can finish up. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is take my scissors and snip these threads off. Okay, and then it's going to look like that. So now we get to put on our hardware. So we're gonna grab our pliers, our hardware, and our glue. So this is where the glue comes in. So the way that I like to do it, I like to put some glue, and you don't want to put a lot, because if you put too much, when you press your hardware onto your keychain, it will start coming all out the sides, and you don't want that. So you just want to put a little bit on the inside on each side, okay? And that's just going to secure it. And so let me just get this top off. And then I'm going to just apply some glue just across the bottom, and then a little dot in between the teeth here. And then what I like to do is put my hardware in my pliers, not pressing it, but just holding it in place like that. And then grab my scrunchie and just put it in there and make sure that it is lined up. And then press it closed. All right. And then you can kind of go around and adjust your scrunchie, and it'll go on just like that. Again, you can use it as keychain, use it as accessory for your handbag or your tote bag, but that is how it looks with our hardware on there. And then that is how our scrunchie is looking. So a quick, easy, beginner-friendly sewing project, something cute you can make for yourself or a gift for someone else. You can also use scrap fabrics for this, so you don't necessarily have to go out and buy a whole yard of fabric or anything like that. This is something that you can use maybe with some extra fabric you have laying around. So let me know in the comments below if you've made one of these before, if you're going to try and make one. I would definitely love to see what you make or how yours turn out. But if you have any other questions, please leave them below in the comments. I will definitely answer. And I do have another beginner-friendly sewing project video that's going to be coming after this one. So be sure to check that one out. It's going to be a very beginner, cute sewing project that I'm sure you'll love. But until next time, thanks so much for watching today's tutorial, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.